I remember it so clearly, y'all. When I stopped being a spectator of my own life, I didn't always have that problem of being a passive observer and kind of allowing myself to be in the matrix, allowing myself to feel like I was trapped, that I had no control, that I couldn't create what I wanted, and that I was the one driving. But somewhere, it really happened after I had kids. It did. I think looking back, I think that is when the transition happened, because as a young lady, it was me. Even if I was dating, it was my life. I felt I was in the driver's seat. I was very ambitious. And I think when I had my girls, I became so overly cautious, and I entered into a survival state because I had to. I was a single mom, and I didn't have a lot of money, and I was in law school, and I had a very toxic relationship that I came out. It put me in a trauma loop, and that's how I got stuck. And once I got in that loop, from day to day, the only thing that I was concerned about was how I was going to pay for childcare, how I was going to pay for rent, and how I was going to get food on the table, and how was I going to continue to do well and, get out of law school. And then when I was out of law school, the economy was tanking. So I started cold applying everywhere. I got a really good job, but that job was super stressful. And it was high profile, but it required me to be on the go. I remember working so late at night. It had me traveling all the time away from my kids. I never slowed down. It was so high. I was writing speeches, managing schedules, handling initiatives, writing articles. I just kind of got caught up in life, and I never had time to think. I never had time to think enough to reflect on where I actually wanted to go. And life, whereas I was the creator when I was younger, I very much became controlled by it. And the more that I was fighting to survive for me and my kids, despite the challenges, and they were very big challenges that I overcame, y'all. That was what my day-to-day focus was on, was survival. And, I think at some point along the way, even when I got a little bit more comfortable, I missed that point where I got off the survival bus, okay? Because I became convinced in this loop that I was always trying to survive to the next day. And don't get me wrong, it has been a struggle, no matter what. But I think that I kind of kept myself there unconsciously, right? Certain things, if I had just known when I was younger, how to budget better, not spend as much. Simple things that could have helped me kind of manage that better. Don't put yourself in credit card debt. Just don't get certain things. Don't travel when you can't afford it. So what if people don't understand? So what if people think that you're less than? I went to Princeton. I went to school with a whole bunch of rich people, and they have family, they had inheritance, they had legacies. I didn't. And I was using credit cards to travel when I should have stayed my butt at home with my kids and been saving. Same thing, how I should have purchased a condo, which would have given me equity, so I could have been in a house and not be paying high rent that gives me zero ownership. Now the older Sadaka, or the older Soraya, knows these things, right? But the younger version of me did not know these things, and I was doing the best that I could. And because of those things, I very much was living a life where I was getting yanked. And I feel a lot of people feel this way, where they have no control over their lives, where they're living day to day at the whim of the world, where they don't know if they're going to lose their job. They don't know if they're going to eat. They don't know if they're going to pay their bills. They don't know if they're going to have a house. And when you're in a survival state, I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Because I know about ownership. I know about accountability. I know about taking control of your life. I have done that. And I am doing that now. But it is very hard when you are in a survival state of mind, and when you're in a constant state of distraction. And the reality is when you're in that situation, things collapse around you a lot faster. Violence happens a lot faster. Domestic violence happens a lot faster because if you're in a community or around people who are going through similar things like that, everybody is in that state of chaos and state of survival. And that means that everyone is thinking about what they're going to do to make it till tomorrow, which means that they're not going to be thinking about unity or cooperation or peace or coherence. They're not even going to be thinking about anything besides like how they can work 2 jobs and raise their kids, and the kids out here doing all kinds of, interesting things. Like, I'm just keeping it 100 for those of us who are living paycheck to paycheck, and I know there is a certain, like, I've seen the best of the best, and I've lived the best of the best, and I've seen the worst of the worst, and I've lived the worst of the worst, y'all. So, like, perspective. And I really like, I see how it happened. Like, give in mind, this is coming from, I would say, a privileged mindset. Like, I didn't have a lot. Like, I pulled alley-oop in law school, y'all. Like, I didn't have a lot. Like, I pulled an alley-oop when I went to Princeton. I didn't have a lot. When I went to Culver, I didn't have a lot. God has blessed me tremendously. God made sure that I was in all these places that my circumstances provide. Like, seriously. Like, and I worked hard for it, don't get me wrong. But, like, even in those situations, like even though I got put there, like I said, I had to work for it, and I had to figure it out. I had to figure out how to survive. And my message to you, if this is resonating with you and you're struggling day to day and you can't find time just to think, I want you to think, and this is relevant to, like, something I posted earlier. It was more of a leadership message, but, like, sometimes we try to fit our lives into a box that isn't really relevant to the reality that we're living in today. And that puts us in a constant state of scarcity. And when your mind is in a constant state of scarcity and lack, you cannot focus enough to be the driver of your life. You let yourself become beholden to the systems and controls that this matrix has put into place. You just accept things even when they're ridiculously wrong, even when they're making your life heck on earth. Like, I was just grocery shopping, and I'm like, they are making things so expensive. Like, I don't know how people are doing it. Like, you got to live 10 in a house now. Like, we need to take ownership of our lives again. We need to declare we are aware. We are not spectators of our lives. We do have control. We do have voice. We do have agency. And what we as a collective decide that we want to exist, like affordable groceries and gas and living, and we don't want to allow private companies to come in and buy up all of our homes so that everybody has to pay rent, we can do that, but we have to be aligned. We have to be conscious and aware enough to be mindful and thinking collectively in circles to be effective as collaboratives, as cooperatives, y'all. Like, we need to start thinking together about what is a world that we would like to live in. And we need to start working together to do that voluntarily, not because anybody's leading, but because there is a mutual benefit for all of us. We have to take control of our lives. We are not spectators to our lives. You are divine beings. You need to remember it. And in order to do so, you got to clear the static out of your life. Like I said, there were certain things that I did or that I could have done as a younger woman that would have given me the space to be like, hold on. Ain't nothing controlling me. I got this. I'm not going to keep on getting dragged. I'm not going to keep on getting in relationships thinking they're going to be my answer to my problems. And I instead take ownership of myself, like, of whatever my issues are. So now, y'all, like, when I'm thinking about me being a single mom and raising these kids, I'm reading books. I'm, like, looking for mentorship. I'm trying everything myself. I am taking agency myself. I'm empowering myself. And I'm praying to God and to the ancestors and to my spirit team. Show me how to be this wonderful mom to all my kids so that I can really, really, really provide a foundation for them into the future. I hope this is relevant. I hope this is helpful. Shalane Tukai.